I think what I want to share today is that if you're not creating your life, you're going to be a victim of it, period. Like, life's movie and everyone around you's movie and your perspective's movie is going to run you over if you're not creating the movie. So, it's just so... An example, sure. An example of that is, so when you run around collecting evidence for how you're the victim of, I don't know, for instance, someone that maybe is judging you, or someone that is maybe perceptively judging you. Maybe they're not even judging you. You haven't even had the conversation. You don't even know. Or someone around you that you love and adore who's not living up to what you know that they could. Or when you start to collect evidence that something's not working, I promise you, eventually it won't work. Conversely, if, much like the Facebook Live I just did, conversely, if you actually find yourself collecting evidence for and deliberately choosing not to get entangled for that which seems to be a little bit of a hiccup, as you do that, what you do is you become magnetic to solutions and to the flow. It's just how physics works. So for instance, I was watching Adam. Adam, with his back, is like, he's been going to so many people. He's been doing so much work on himself. He's been going to chiros and physios and, Pilates and, oh my God, you wouldn't even getting epidurals, everything that one, also using his mind. But as soon as he really seriously did his meditations and started to collect evidence for what, instead of giving his power away to all those practitioners who were helping with him with his back, as soon as he started shifting his thinking and collecting evidence for what is right, it is fascinating the possibilities that have come his way. It's just absolutely ridiculous. He just got called for a gig at a restaurant that loves him. And he also got called to be a coach at a program that he used to be a student of. And
very cool.
Out of the blue. So, when we don't take our lives in our own, when we don't be responsible for where our frequency is or where we're vibrating, what happens is the movie of life the dominant vibration in nature is everything comes to you. It breathes out the oxygen we breathe in, and vice versa. Everything comes, that's the dominant vibration. It's constantly perpetuating itself. But the dominant vibration, if you choose to focus in on humanity, just humanity itself, the dominant vibration is actually victimhood, protection, and survival. So when you're in victimhood, protection, and survival, what you're going to see is that people are picking on you, someone's being cruel to you, things are getting judged that you're doing. You will not be in solutions mode, meaning the movie of life, the movie of what we perceive, that the thing that we're tapped into called, I need to be protecting myself. The culture of being human will be the movie that you're in, because you're not creating the new movie. You're just letting the old movie take you over.
Jen, when you were sharing, I was thinking of when you said that you won't see solutions, but I was thinking that I think you might see solutions, but you might be coming from the space of that you're broken and you need fixing. So
Well,
those kinds
that
of
could
things
be,
might show. What do you think about that?
well, it could be that you'll see the solutions, but mostly when you're feeling that way, you don't see them as solutions. What you see them as is, I can't do that, or that's too much work, or why is it always hard for me? Because you're already in that space to begin with. So you'll somehow poo-poo it away, or it'll go by the wayside, or you'll convince yourself that you shouldn't do that thing because you're in such a bad vibration, or
Oh, it's not time yet, or those kinds of
or
things.
or you'll be exhausted because you've got so much resistance to the truth.
Right. Yeah.
And the great thing is it can all turn around. Like, it can turn around in an hour, 10 minutes, a day. Like, it really doesn't take very long to turn it around, but it is amazing how many people are being affected by the vortex of the hopelessness or the disempowerment in the world. They're just letting themselves be taken over by it instead of being responsible for their own
Yeah. Right.
way of looking at life. So, so the homework for me around that is starting, it's such a strange thing. It really comes back to some old-fashioned advice, which is suck it up, because you're the one that has to change. Like, you can't look outside yourself. You're the one that has to change it. You're the one that has to be responsible for it. I can't do it for someone. I can help if you ask for me for help, but that was you taking the initiative. You see what I mean? Like, you can't carry anyone. I can't carry anyone. There actually has to be a decision that's made to have it go a different direction. Because the assumption is we're all divine children of an infinite universe, which we are. And if you don't believe that, then it's going to be really tough. So either creation gave birth to you, otherwise it's going to get really tough, because then there's a whole conversation to actually bridge you to the reality that you're made of particles of consciousness. So, we're made of the stardust that created the entire universe. So we got to come to terms with that first. And then if that's true, then that stardust is still expanding forward and out, which means we got to get in alignment with that forward and out expansion. And that takes skill. So we got to be constantly in a place of learning and constantly in a place of finding more joy, because consciousness is only moving faster, which is part of the reason why I see so many people kicking the bucket lately. So many people leaving the planet because they just can't see their way home. They can't see their way to remembering that they're stardust.